Hello. Okay. Hello party people, it's me JiBron here, back at it again with another video. If this is your first time tuning in, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and welcome back to it, just JiBron. Y'all, this is the second take of me doing my talk show because y'all, as y'all can see, I have a new microphone and it wasn't even on. So I have to retake my show. Isn't that wonderful? So y'all, let's get down to the business. Did you hear about JiBron and his wife? They're filing for divorce. Lil Nas X talks about being bipolar. Michelle Obama gets drugged at the UFC event or whatever event it was at the White House. And then Tom and Zendaya have confirmed that they are in fact married. So you guys, can we talk? First things first, Jelly Donut, or whatever his name is, Jelly Roll has recently filed for divorce in Franklin County, Tennessee over irreconcilable differences. Okay, so if you don't know what happened, I'll tell you what happened. So the couple, Jelly Roll went to the courthouse and he filed for divorce after, according to his wife, that she told him to go ahead and file the papers after they got into an argument on Mother's Day. She confirmed that neither parties cheated and they're still going to remain the best of friends. Okay, y'all, here's the thing that I was confused about when I was, reading the story. Like, if you've been with somebody for that long, what really happened? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to be best friends. Like, did y'all just grow apart? Is Jelly Roll feeling himself because he done lost all that weight? And fun fact, he said that he was hospitalized right before he even filed for divorce, a couple of days before. And why would you let him file the paperwork? And thirdly, why is your name Jelly Roll? Why couldn't you be something like beignet, waffle, donut, or something more appetizing? Like, I don't understand the whole Jelly Roll thing, but whatever. He looks good with his new weight loss. You know, it's sad to see that this couple broke up. You know, they've been together for over 10 years. And, to me, love is a beautiful thing. It's a hard thing to find. And once you find it, I feel like you should hold on to it and, try to cherish it and make it work. But then again, I'm not behind closed doors. Sometimes you do just grow apart. Sometimes you're no longer like peas and carrots. You're more like apples and oranges, and you just don't mix. And, you just grow apart. And, that's just a part of the human growth and human life as a whole. But in other happy marital news, did you hear that Zendaya and Tom Holland are actually married? So Tom Holland actually confirmed to Esquire magazine that the two are in fact together. He said that he got a call from his grandmother, because, I think she saw like an AI picture leaked to the two, and she was like, did I miss something? And he was like, no. And he said that everybody who was important was supposed to be there. And he said, that's all you're gonna get from me. Now here's what I wanna know. What dress did she wear? What was the food like? Who were the guests? Were there any celebrities? Where was it? How long was it? Are there any photographs? Because I'm surprised in this day and age, nobody with a camera phone. Like, you must have had some really, really close friends and family, because in these days, these thirsty hoes, they will release your pictures to TMZ for $5 just for 5 seconds of fame. Like, I'm just like, La Roche hasn't said anything. Right now, I think La Roche, you on an NDA because you talk too daggone much, you and your good lace fronts. Yes, y'all, I'm using a new cup. This is the cup I bought from the Coca-Cola factory in Atlanta, and I got my name engraved on it, so that's why I'm using it. No, I did not get a Coca-Cola sponsorship. Granted, I really wish I did because I really need that bag. But anyway, I'm just happy that they found love. They are truly one of the last few Hollywood couples because their life is so mysterious. They don't sit and blab in front of a camera like I do with you all every week. But you know what I will say about this that I do respect about them, and this is something that I do. As much as I talk to you guys about different things, I do keep certain things to myself because you're never supposed to let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. But I do feel like for me in my career path, I have to be open with you guys so we can build like a trustworthy relationship. But no offense, they're in acting. So no offense, you're gonna go see Spider-Man, you're gonna go see whatever Zendaya's in, and you're gonna go buy whatever she sells. So they don't have to tell you their business. And I'm just happy. Love wins. Lil Nas X recently came out and talked about that he recently was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and he's working through it. So he recently went on Instagram to give everyone an update on how he's been doing, recently, after he had the whole thing where he was walking down the street in his underwear. And he said that he had noticed that he had been off for years. Now, I will say for me, when the anxiety, before you go get diagnosed with stuff, you notice the signs. Like for me, y'all know I have the anxiety, depression, and the ADHD, whatever. Okay, cool. Before I went and got diagnosed, I knew certain things were off. Like I was like, why do I lay in this bed all day? Why am I always down? why do I feel like nobody's ever gonna love me? Why do I always feel alone? Why do I always feel like an outcast? Why am I always worried? Why can't I sit down and focus? And like, you get the signs, but like him, I didn't want to get stigmatized as quote unquote being crazy. You know, like in the black community, he didn't say crazy, but I didn't want to get stigmatized and people think I was mentally ill or unwell. He said that he didn't want to take the medication, like I just said, and he didn't want to get stigmatized or whatever. But he has a psychiatrist and his therapist, and you know, he said new music's coming soon. Respectfully, Montero, you can keep the music. Focus on your health, and let's focus on that, because I don't think anybody's really checking for you, because you just see what happened with Lizzo. Lizzo did all those stunts and games to come at Nicki Minaj, the queen of rap, and we all know I've said my things about Nicki in the past. But Lizzo, Nicki had a point. You did all that and you couldn't even sell 5 albums. Like, your album didn't even chart on Billboard. You know, it's hard out here in a Beyonce, Drake, Taylor Swift world, and to come at Nicki out of all things to sell your little album. First of all, who knew you had 2 singles out? I'm just like, and then you, like, Lizzo, you just been having a bad year. You lost a couple of $1 million on your house. Like, girl, it just sucks to be you. And the fact that I'm contrary to popular belief, I actually like Nicki. I just don't agree with some of the things that she does, which I have an opinion just like everybody else, and I can say whatever I want to. But the fact that she's kind of right, that you had to pull all these gimmicks, because at the end of the day, she is the queen of rap, and whatever, you know, her name is attached to is going to make headlines. But that side note, Montero, nobody's checking for your music like that, sister. Partner up with some mental health campaign and focus on that. I think that's a good idea for you, because you can help the stigmatism with a lot of gay black men who are struggling and don't want to go get the help. Like, you could really market off that, and I think that's what you should do. No more albums for you, especially if you're going to be playing with Satan's blood and all that bull crap like you did the last time. Nonetheless, granted, you seem like a nice child, and I'm glad that you got the help that you needed. Did y'all hear about that foolishness that happened at that fight at the White House? And side note, why was y'all trying to do a whole attack at the White House? That's a whole other topic for a whole other day. So y'all know that John Hokit fighter said that Michelle Obama looks like a man? First of all, that was one of the most ignorant First of all, that's so old and corny and played out. We all know she's not a man. First of all, she's more successful than you. She comes, I forgot what law school she went to. Oh my God, it's one of those prestigious ones. I do know that. She comes from humble beginnings in Chicago. I read a book, Becoming. And, you know, former First Lady Michelle Obama and former President Barack Obama, they are, in my opinion, the epitome of black excellence. Whether you agree with everything that they've done, I feel like they, you know, both came from humble beginnings. President Obama had his struggles. Former First Lady Michelle Obama had her struggles, and they both came together and, you know, left a legacy that we all will remember. I mean, we still have the china up from the Obamas in my house. That was a monumental occasion. And the fact that you're trying to throw cheap shots, boy, said, ain't nobody checking for you like that. Like, girl, bye. But anyway, y'all, can we talk about self-sabotage real quick? Like I was mentioning earlier. So y'all know I'm dating. And when I tell y'all, I hate it. And I will say the anxiety does not make it better, because I feel like I end up rushing into things too quickly, and I get attached too quickly, because y'all, growing up as the only child, I have siblings, but I'm kind of estranged. Let's just be honest. I don't have the best relationship with them, and we're not as close as I would like to be. And I feel like that has played a major part into other aspects of my life, to where I do feel like I'm a bit clingier when I first meet people, because either I know from hello whether I like you or I don't. It's that simple. And if I like you, I'm hooked like white on rice. And if I don't, goodbye. And if you start switching up on me, then I get nervous, and then that anxiety brain starts tripping. And I'm like, you know, I will say there has been moments where I'm like, is it ever gonna happen? And everybody's like, you're so young. But I'm like, when you felt like this for like your entire life, you're always questioning, like, what's wrong with me? Am I not good enough? Am I not attractive? You know, it's always the little wonders, like, what's wrong with me, and why won't somebody love me? And, you know, it seems like you're always this close to getting it, but it's like you're always that far. And it's just one of those things that I, you know, have been struggling with. And it's something that I have to admit that I do have trust issues, that I am terrified of people leaving when I get attached and when I get close to people. And that's why I feel like a lot of times I come off, shut off, and guarded when it comes to people, because I don't want you to get too close to me, or I don't want to get too attached, and then you leave, and then I'm back at square one. But anyway, y'all, that's all the time that I have for y'all this week. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!